there's nobody on this planet that can beat me. I won't go the distance. Won't go the distance.
Mike Tyson will probably go on to become one of the greatest fighters in boxing history.
This month in Las Vegas, Frank Bruno will be the latest obstacle in the way of Mike Tyson's charge towards a place in boxing legend. The Englishman has already had one crack at the heavyweight title, losing to Tim Witherspoon back in 1986. The clash with Tyson has been postponed a number of times, and Bruno has had ample time to get himself into peak condition. He's also managed to endear himself to the American public with his amiable manner and a constant stream of jokes.
You matured?
I think so, I've matured. I hope so. I've got some hairs on my chest, so I think that's helped it a little bit.
But in Las Vegas, Bruno could be on the receiving end of a far more deadly punchline. Legendary trainer Cus D'Amato always believed Tyson was destined for greatness. Estranged manager and longtime friend Bill Caton remembers a fateful visit to D'Amato's Catskill Gymnasium.
Cus took us to the gym and pointed to a young boy who was hitting the heavy bag very ferociously and said, "That's Mike Tyson." And we said, "Yes, we heard that he was here." And he said, "Yes, not only is he here, but he will undoubtedly go on to become the youngest heavyweight champion in history."
The young Tyson made good the promise of the late Cus D'Amato and is confident of keeping his title in this, his 8th defense.
I feel good enough to beat Frank Bruno.
He was good enough in his last fight 9 months ago. He destroyed Michael Spinks in round 1, then delivered another knockout blow.
I wasn't really appreciative of what you guys, quote, the reporters, did to me. Building up to this fight, you tried to embarrass me, you tried to embarrass my family, you tried to disgrace us, and as far as I know, this might be my last fight.
Mike was happy to shake hands with Spinks after the fight, but he was less forgiving with the press.
I'm not saying all of you, because a lot of reporters are my friends, but a lot of you are assholes. And he told me that this was going to happen. And somebody like me, because all my life has been chaos, so it really doesn't bother me. But once I become vulnerable because you attack somebody I love, like my wife and my mother-in-law, and that's the only way you can get to me, because basically I'm a don't-care person.
After his marriage to actress Robin Givens, the couple were hounded by the press. Speculation surrounded their every move and eventually contributed to the breakup of the marriage. It was a sad ending, as Bill Caton explains.
Robin Givens is a very beautiful, very talented actress, and I could understand Mike's being so much in love with her, which I believe he may still be. But the marriage seems to be over at this time, and I think that Mike will go on to finding other relationships which he will find perhaps more acceptable and more happy for him than that.
But that was not the end of Tyson's troubles. In a street brawl with boxer Mitch Green, Tyson broke his hand. Green also picked up a souvenir of the encounter. On a wet New York night, Tyson lost control of his car, skidding into a tree. He suffered head injuries, but the cruelest blows were still being dealt by the media. Stories that the crash was a suicide bid began to circulate.
Hey, break! Give him a break!
Take it easy, lady.
Tyson's house was constantly besieged by reporters. The pressure was beginning to show.
Hey, Mike, what do you want?
This turbulent period in Tyson's career coincided with the champ's move away from Bill Caton and over to Don King. But Bill is still hopeful that the champ will return to the Cus D'Amato boxing family.
Mike and I are now somewhat estranged, in fact quite estranged, but it is my hope that Mike will come back, as he did in the past when he decided to leave his wife after a rather heavy weekend and severe arguments, he came to my office and said he was back with me, but then he got onto the wing of Don King and is now with Don King. It is my hope that we will be able to reconcile our differences and get to working together again as we did in the past.
Tyson may have had some bad moments with the press, but generally he seems to enjoy his life as the champ. He rarely refuses autographs and has real respect for the genuine boxing fans and correspondents. Away from the ring, there is a very different side to Mike Tyson.
Well, he has pigeons, he has dogs, he loves his dogs, and he's in an extraordinary way loves children, particularly handicapped children. When I brought him to London 2 years ago for the Bruno Tillis fight, we were out at Wembley Stadium, and back at the stadium there was a group of handicapped children, no press around, and Mike saw them and went over and spent almost an hour with them with no press, no coverage. It's just the way he felt. He just wanted to be with those kids, and boy, those kids love it. I'm sure that they probably were the happiest kids in the world that night because of the time that Mike Tyson had spent with them.
As fight night approaches, Tyson is looking increasingly menacing, dispelling any notions that he is overweight. He looks in tremendous shape.
Absolutely, because every moment of my life, I'm scared to death of losing. You know, fighting comes like breathing, you know what I mean? I do it, I really don't get tired, and it's just something that God blessed me with, and I thank him very dearly.
Few people are betting against Tyson. Frank Bruno could find himself living a nightmare trying to stop the Iron Man's march to boxing immortality.
He is the youngest heavyweight champion of all time, and he could go on to be the oldest heavyweight champion of all time and remaining undefeated during the entire period. If he continues and stays in training, he will go on to become the most successful sports figure in the history of sports.